Well, it's not surprising, perhaps, to know that some people in our community are more vulnerable to crime than others. What is shocking to learn is that people with disabilities are nearly 4 times more likely to be victims, and that fact's been true for several decades. So my guests now are determined to not only change that trend, but to be there advocating for those who need them most. So I'd like to welcome in Katherine Yoder and Leigha Shoup with Adult Advocacy Centers, and they are the sponsors of this segment. So ladies, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Katherine, I want to talk about that statistic. It's eye-opening. It's disturbing, I would say, in a lot of ways, but it inspired you to take action. So tell us about the advocacy centers and what you do.
So that, like you said, that statistic has been pretty much consistent. It's actually gotten higher since 1988 when they first started collecting statistics around victimization of people with disabilities. So what we've done is created this model, Adult Advocacy Center model, and we're the only organization in the world that does specific forensic interviewing for adults with disabilities. And that we work with prosecutors, with law enforcement, social workers, forensic nurses, and the focus really is to support the crime victim throughout the criminal justice process. A big area is the interview itself. Usually, historically, that's been done by law enforcement. A lot of times they're not trained in how to do those type of interviews. So forensic interviewing is more of like a narrative type of interviewing someone. It allows them to kind of explain their story in their own words, which is exactly the type of work that we do. We say that, our goal is not to help people with disabilities find their voice. They've always had a voice. Our goal is to teach everyone else how to listen. So we've developed different protocols on how to do those interviews. One of our most popular ones is a forensic interview protocol on interviewing people who don't traditionally speak through speech. And that historically is a population that isn't interviewed at all. And we've had some really good successes. We have a 3-year MOU with the Attorney General's Special Victims Unit and the Ohio State Highway Patrol.
And so let's talk a little about those who aren't verbal. Leigha, how is it that you are able to then kind of, mediate between that and really help them be heard?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. That's a very common question that we get. So with specialized forensic interview training, forensic interviewers are able to learn new skills, techniques, and tools to be able to establish a baseline for someone to be able to communicate, for example, like a yes-no. So if someone can answer a yes-no in some format, whether that's gesturing, eye blinking, eye gazing, things like that, then a skilled forensic interviewer who has the training, of course, could then be able to establish a whole interview process where an individual would then be able to have the opportunity to disclose if there has been abuse.
And Katherine, I find it so startling, I guess, that you're the only one in the world. You're the only organization like this that exists, and it seems like they should be everywhere. But that's why you have people around the world, right?
Yep.
Reaching out to you.
Yep. So we're really pioneering here in Ohio. The other part that's really cool about it is that we're a disability-led organization. So we're kind of doing it for the community, by the community, which is really how, when you look at systemic problems within different communities and cultures, usually the solution is going to be found within the people represented.
And you do this without a brick and mortar, even.
No, and we're working on that.
Okay.
So we're really trying to get our first brick and mortar center here in Franklin County. Hopefully within the next year. We have been making some progress with that, but right now we've been using child advocacy centers. The Center of Family Safety and Healing down at Nationwide has been absolutely amazing with allowing us to utilize their facilities for forensic interviewing, and we do courtesy interviews for child advocacy centers as well.
And Leigha, what do you want people to know about just how important this work is? How, I guess, vital it would be if you weren't there, right? If you weren't able to help these victims, what would happen? What would their lives look like moving forward?
Yeah, we want to make sure that everyone has equal access, right? So
Yeah.
equal access to the services that unfortunately, if you are a victim of a crime, there are services available. So we want to make sure those same services are accessible to individuals with disabilities as well. So our work is extremely important, and we are fundraising all the time. You know, as a nonprofit, we're always trying to build and create more. So one of the big things that we're doing right now is fundraising for a mobile RV unit. And our mobile RV unit will include a forensic interview room, a medical forensic examination space, and then an area where multidisciplinary team members, such as law enforcement, victim advocates, can connect with the survivor, wherever the survivor is. So the idea is that the mobile unit can travel to any location and be able to provide those accessible services.
Yeah, that sounds like an obvious need and an incredible service that you guys are doing. So if you want to donate, I want to let people know adultadvocacycenters.org/donate. There's a QR code on there. There's all kinds of information on there. You can go to that. And then if you need services as well, I'm sure, reach out and talk to them. I am just so happy that you guys are sharing what you're doing. It's incredible happening right here in Franklin County. So thank you.
Thank you.